All right, so let's see if the audio is okay. Yeah, perfect. How's it going, everyone? I hope you are doing great. I am Dork Radu and I am back with another daily analysis. And as always, I'm gonna start off with the Forex analysis. And to be more exact, we are going to start off with this beautiful trade that played out perfectly on USD CHF. It literally triggered our first entry and went straight into profit, smashing all of the targets. And I thought, why not do a trade breakdown on it? So the reason I took this setup is very simple. I saw, first things first, I saw a aggressive break towards the downside that left imbalance behind. I also saw that before the break, liquidity was swept as well right here, which is a great added confluence. After the break, I was able to identify this unmitigated order block that was lining up perfectly with the area of interest as well as with this bearish trader order block. I also saw that the trader graph was lining up perfectly with our setup because it was fully bearish. And then the last thing that I waited was a corrective pullback. And as we can see, we had a very nice and corrective pullback. So this was A+ setup. It literally respected all of our rules, all of our confluences. It triggered a first entry and then boom, it went straight into profit, smashing all of the targets. And why not also see if there's a new potential range that we could take? And in my opinion, we have a very clear one. Okay, we broke structure right here very impulsively. We also swept liquidity beforehand, which is great. And we also have this unmitigated order block that is lining up with this bearish trader order block, as well as with the area of interest. So definitely a new potential setup. But of course, now we need to wait for a corrective pullback. Next up, we have AUD CAD, where we have a buy limit, a bullish setup running in some nice profits as we speak on both of the entries. Both of the entries smashed TP1. Now price is running towards TP2 potentially. Okay, the reason I took this setup is because I saw this textbook break towards the upside, fair value gap lining up with the area of interest as well as with this bullish trader order block. Daily and 4 hour were both bullish on the trader graph, and the pullback was also very nice and corrective. And as we can see, it is looking very, very promising. Okay, running in some nice profits literally as we speak. GBP USD with a bullish opportunity. Right here we have a continuation of this uptrend with this textbook break towards the upside. We have a unmitigated order block lining up with the point of interest as well. Daily and 4 hour are both bullish on the trader graph, and the pullback so far has been corrective as well. Okay, so we definitely want to see a continuation of that. On GBP CAD, we have another bullish opportunity looking pretty similar to GBP USD, to be honest. We have a continuation of this very aggressive uptrend with this bullish break of structure that took price higher and left imbalance behind. We have this unmitigated order block that is lining up perfectly with the point of interest. Daily and 4 hour are both bullish on the trader graph, and it is safe to say that the pullback has been corrective as well so far, which is ideal. Next up, we have GBP JPY with a bearish potential setup. We have a aggressive break, unmitigated order block lining up with the area of interest as well as with this bearish trader order block. 4 hour is bearish on the trader graph as well. And now the last thing that we need to wait for is a corrective pullback. On CAD JPY, we have a very similar setup, very aggressive break towards the downside that left imbalance behind. We have this unmitigated order block lining up with the area of interest. The 4 hour is bearish on the trader graph as well. And finally, we now need to wait for a corrective pullback towards our fire zone. On Euro JVP, things look bearish over here as well. Aggressive break, liquidity was swept beforehand as well. We have this unmitigated order block sitting right on top of our point of interest. And it is also lining up with this bearish trader order block. Daily and the 4 hour are both bearish on the trader graph. And it is safe to say that the pullback so far has been extremely corrective, which is good. okay, because that's what we want. We want bearish pressure. On EuroCAD, we have a pretty textbook bullish potential setup, a continuation of this uptrend with this bullish break of structure right here that took price higher and left the imbalance behind. We have this unmitigated order block lining up perfectly with the area of interest. The trader graph is fully bullish as well. And now the last thing that we need to wait for is a corrective pullback towards our fire zone. On OJPY, things look bearish. We have a textbook break towards the downside, a unmitigated order block lining up with the point of interest, 4-hour bearish on the graph, and now we need to wait and see whether we get a corrective pullback or not. On EuroJPY, things look bearish as well because the yen was very strong this week. Okay, we have a aggressive break towards the downside, a unmitigated order block lining up with the area of interest. The 4-hour is bearish on the trader graph once again. And of course, now, as always, the last thing that we need to wait for is a corrective pullback. On Euro CHF, we have a bearish shift in momentum. We have a liquidity sweep right here, followed by a aggressive break towards the downside. We have this unmitigated order block lining up perfectly with the area, with the point of interest, as well as with this bearish trader order block. The trader graph is fully bearish, and now we need to wait and see how price will pull back towards our fire zone, and of course if it will pull back. USD JPY with another bearish potential setup, aggressive break towards the downside, unmitigated order block lining up with the area of interest, 4-hour bearish on the trader graph as well. And now once again we need to wait for a corrective pullback. Euro USD, oh, finally a bullish setup as well. Right here we have a continuation of this uptrend with this bullish break of structure, looking very clean. Trader graph is fully bullish as well, which is great. We have a fair value gap lining up perfectly with the point of interest, and so far the pullback looks pretty corrective as well. So we definitely want to see a continuation of that. GBP AUD with another bullish opportunity, aggressive break towards the upside. We have this fair value gap lining up with the point of interest. The trader graph is fully bullish as well. And now the last thing that we need to wait for is a corrective pullback towards our fire zone. On AUD USD, things look bearish. Okay, over here we have a textbook break towards the downside. We have a unmitigated order block lining up with the area of interest, as well as with this bearish trader order block. And the 4-hour is bearish on the trader graph as well. And so far it is safe to say that the pullback is looking very nice and corrective, which is great because that's exactly what we want. Euro AUD is looking bullish. We have a textbook break towards the upside. The momentum is clearly bullish as well. We have this fair value gap lining up with the discounted area of this bullish range. The 4-hour is bullish on the trader graph. And now, once again, the last step is for us to wait for a corrective pullback. And lastly, on AUD CHF, we have a bearish potential setup. Very textbook, an aggressive break towards the downside that then formed this bearish range. We have this fair value gap lining up perfectly with the point of interest. The 4-hour is bearish on the trader graph. And now we need to wait for the corrective pullback as per usual. Okay. And yeah, on that note, we'll end today's Forex analysis right here. Plenty of good setups that played out or playing out beautifully, as well as new potential setups. So yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed it. And if there's any further questions, make sure to reach out on Discord. Now I will go over today's metals analysis, starting off with gold, where I was able to identify a bullish opportunity. We have a textbook, an aggressive break towards the upside. We have an unmitigated order block lining up perfectly with the point of interest. Daily and the 4-hour are both bullish on the trader graph as well. And the pullback so far is very nice and corrective. So we definitely want to see a continuation of that. On silver, let's do a trade breakdown because we had this beauty playing out perfectly. What a beautiful trade. It smashed all of the targets and it literally faced no drawdown almost. So why did I take this trade? You might ask. Well, first things first, I saw that price broke structure. Okay, that was the first thing that I saw. A break of structure to the downside, a aggressive one because imbalance was left behind. I also saw that liquidity was swept beforehand because that's a great added confluence. Then I was able to identify this unmitigated order block that was lining up perfectly with the point of interest, all right? And the 4-hour was also lining up with it on the graph because it was bearish. And finally, I waited for a corrective pullback, which I got because we can see here, this was all corrective. Hence why I then took the setup, sent it in the group as well. And as we can see, it played out perfectly. What a beautiful setup. It triggered our first entry and then boom, it went straight into profits, smashing all of the targets. And yeah, this was literally my thought process behind it. And on that note, we'll end the metals analysis right here for today. As always, if there's any other questions, make sure to reach out on Discord. And now I will go over today's indices analysis, starting off with US 30, where I was able to identify a bullish potential setup. Right here, we have an aggressive break towards the upside, continuing this aggressive uptrend. The trader graph is fully bullish, as we can all see. We also have an unmitigated order block lining up with the area of interest. And now all we need to wait for is a corrective pullback. On SPX, we have a bullish opportunity running in some small profits as we speak. Okay, both of our entries got triggered, and I think entry number 2 is pretty close to TP1 if I'm not mistaken. Let's check it out. Yeah, it's pretty close to TP1, so all we gotta do now is wait. The reason I took this setup is because I saw a aggressive break towards the upside. I also saw that liquidity was swept beforehand as well. The daily and the 4-hour were lining up on the graph because they were both bullish. They were lining up with the bullish range, and then the pullback looked pretty corrective as well, right? Hence why I then took the setup, and now we just need to see how it will play out. And on S100, I was able to identify a bearish opportunity. Right here, I saw an aggressive break towards the downside, a unmitigated order block lining up perfectly with the point of interest as well as with this bearish trader order block. 4-hour bearish on the trader graph, and now, of course, we need to wait for a corrective pullback. And yeah, on that note, we'll end today's indices analysis right here. As always, if there's any other questions, make sure to reach out on Discord. And lastly, I will go over today's crypto analysis, starting off with Bitcoin. And to be fair, I'm not going to waste too much time on a crypto analysis today because the price didn't really move that much and there's still no setups that we can analyze, okay? Hence why there's no point for us to force anything and just focus on the assets, on the pairs where we identified setups, clear setups. Over here, we can see that price is pretty much in the middle of nowhere. We want to see a clear move either to the up or downside, and from there we should be able to identify something new. Same story on Dogecoin. Okay, we can see that the price action is looking pretty similar. I think XRP is looking very similar as well, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, things look bullish, but I'm not able to identify a clear bullish range because price looks pretty linear. And lastly, we have Solana. Let's check Solana out as well, which is looking pretty similar to the others. Okay, once again, here we had a very linear move to the upside, hence why we couldn't identify a bullish range. And then here, price decided to reverse a bit. And now we are literally in the middle of nowhere. So like I said, from here, we want to see a clear move either to the up or to the downside. And from there, we should be able to identify something new. All right. And yeah, on that note, we'll end today's crypto as well as the overall daily analysis right here. As always, I hope you all enjoyed it and I will see you all on the dork side. Take care.